So I just got done watching The Walking Dead Dead City episode 1, and today's video I'm going to be breaking down the episode and just my honest thoughts about the episode and what interested me the most about the episode, so stay tuned. Now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you all of you that are subscribing and are supporting me throughout this journey, and all the nice comments you guys are leaving me. I'm truly grateful for all of the things you guys are saying, and just subscribing. That means so much to me. And let's try reaching 1,000 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. And I know that we could do it, right? Because all of you guys have been so amazing, right? So it gives me more confidence that we could actually reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. So if you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe, and yeah, subscribe for more Walking Dead content. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to give my opinion about this episode in general, and personally, I think it's a good episode, right? It was a really good episode. It was a really good start to the spin-off, and I liked how it felt like The Walking Dead, and again, after like 6 months or 7 months without seeing these characters, it feels really nice seeing these characters again. It's really nice seeing Negan again, and yeah, the thing I liked about it is that it didn't stray away too much from The Walking Dead, like the feel of The Walking Dead, but again, it introduced something new. And now let's talk about the episode itself. The episode, it actually opens up with Maggie in Manhattan, right? She's looking for Herschel, like she has some sort of binoculars, right? And she's just looking, and then she sees a bunch of walkers coming her way. Then she hides, but then after that, the one thing I really want to talk about in this video was the intro. The intro was so good. I really liked the intro, and you guys know me, right? I always preach CRM, right? And in this intro, there was a helicopter. Now, I know that wasn't a CRM helicopter, but that could be hinting at the CRM having some sort of presence. Now, I know that this helicopter is probably a way to show like the past, when New York actually fell, when New York went through the fall, right, of the apocalypse, and then they were forced to bomb the bridges and to keep the walkers out. So again, but as soon as I saw the helicopter first glance, I'm like, holy crap! I jumped out of my seat, and then I looked closer. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not the CRM, but yeah. The general feel of the intro was good. The music was good. Everything about this intro was really good. I really liked the intro, and I thought at first that they were gonna do some sort of like Fear the Walking Dead type intro or something like that. They weren't gonna have like a real theme. They were just gonna have like the characters and their outlines, which I actually love Fear's intros, right? I like the music jingle that happens, and just the outline of the characters and how like each episode it's unique. But I was really hoping for its own theme and its own intro, and which they did deliver upon that. So again, the intro itself, I would give like a 9.5 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. It was really, really good. And now let's talk about the episode itself. We start off this episode with Maggie going to a bar, and then she finds Negan, and then both of them, they actually escape, and Negan actually has a child with him. Her name is Ginny, and she is it looks like that she is mute, so it'd be a very interesting dynamic there. And it's just very nice seeing like Negan with like taking care of a child, like how he did with Judith. So again, I'm really happy to see that. And also they didn't show the Croat taking Herschel, so they're gonna be showing that more in flashbacks. And then there's a marshal that's actually after Negan. You could call him like the cop of the apocalypse, and he's looking for Negan because Negan is wanted. And when Maggie actually shows Negan the wanted poster, it's Negan goes back to his old comedic ways, his old sense of humor. And one thing I would like to say about this episode just alone is that I'm definitely getting a feel of old Negan here. I'm definitely getting a feel of like season 7, season 8 Negan, and also like season 10 Negan when he actually infiltrated the Whispers, and he was hilarious, right? So this is giving me that feel which I'm really excited for. And now let's get back to the Marshal. Like, there's really not much to say about this character except that he is a badass bounty hunter in the apocalypse, right? And he takes the law really seriously. Like, I mean, you could say that these are made up laws in Babylon, right? And whoever is in charge of Babylon, they made these rules in the last probably like 10 years of the apocalypse, right? And it's very cool to see that they're actually following that, right? And they're taking that to heart. And it looks like that he is so critical about the law, right? He cares about the law so much that he's willing to kill anyone for it. And we actually see that the lady in the bar, right, who was actually like working with Negan, or Negan was working there, he killed her because she broke a code of the law that she was assisting Negan, and also she was assisting covering him up. So again, this character seems really dangerous. And this character really reminds me of Emil from Fear the Walking Dead, the character that was looking for Morgan, right, the bounty hunter in Fear. But this Marshal, he's not as scary as Emil, right? Emil was pretty damn scary. But this guy is more of like, he feels like he's fighting for the side of good, which is going to be a very interesting dynamic. And I actually really want to see what Negan did. Like, I want to see what Negan did, because again, I watched this episode earlier today, and I don't remember some parts of it, but I do believe that Negan did kill a couple of people, so that's why he's after Negan. And also another cool part about this show, just this first episode, is that they showed flashbacks to season 7 episode 1, like Negan killing Glenn. And also the Marshal actually said that Negan killed Glenn, he killed a person right in front of his pregnant wife, talking about Maggie. So he was talking about those events. So again, like how I said in my Dead City speculation video, the Croat could very definitely turn out to be part of that line, part of the saviors that were there around them. And then he could have actually hired the Marshal to look for Negan or whatever, right? Because again, I don't think that they explained how does he even know that, that happened with them. Probably somebody from Hilltop told him, or Maggie, or even the Croat, because that seems like the most possible outcome, that the Croat actually did tell this Marshal that Negan did this, and he needs to be arrested at once, or in their case, they're gonna do like a medieval execution method where they're gonna cut him from the bottom up, right, and they're gonna hang him upside down. It's really gruesome. I don't want to mention that all that much. Now, another thing I want to point out is that, how I said before, that they actually, showed, season 7, episode 1, that one moment of Negan killing Glenn. That's one thing I really like about this episode, that they mention the main series a lot. They mentioned Hilltop, and it looks like a proper continuation of the main series, right? It's not like they're doing a Fear thing, right, and they're just not mentioning anything from the main series. I mean, I think in Fear they mentioned Alexandria a handful of times, and they were actually about to go to Alexandria, but that didn't turn out to happen. And Rick became this character that was never mentioned. Morgan would always say that, oh yeah, my friend, he said this to me, he said that to me, but he wouldn't be mentioning Rick. And again, even in the main series, it always seemed like that they didn't have that consistency, right? It once a character was gone, or once something was gone, they would not mention it again. But it looks like that they're actually going to be mentioning a lot in this show, and they're going to be calling back to the past of The Walking Dead. And it really gets me excited, to be honest. And then Negan and Maggie, they actually make it to Manhattan, and again, it looks really nice. Again, they didn't show Manhattan in a more broader view, so this most of the stuff that we saw in this first episode is from trailers. So again, that's another thing that gets me excited, is that they didn't show much from later on in the show. A lot of the stuff that were in the trailers was shown in the first episode, right? So again, it leaves room for theories and just guessing what's gonna happen and stuff like that. But again, let's just get to when they make it to Manhattan. So when they make it to Manhattan, they actually do have a court martial in training, a police officer in training with Negan and Maggie. They take him hostage, and then they make it to Manhattan, and then the Marshal, who is actually named Pearly, right? Because I totally forgot the name during the recording, so you know I just had to look it up. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, the marshal's name is Pearly, the one that's actually hunting down Negan. And then him and his teammate, they actually make it to Manhattan. And then Negan and Maggie, there's like this really gross moment where they're like, you know, ducking down, and there's like these like insects and cockroaches that are like going on their face. It just creeped me out. It made me cringe a lot. But you know, then they go into this building, and then they're trying to escape. And then Pearly actually does say to Maggie that, you know, why are you working with this man? You know, you kidnapped my teammate, and you know, you may have your reasons, and you know, I'm a man of the law and stuff like that. And then he gets Maggie thinking, but you know, of course, she doesn't side with him. She doesn't call out his name or say that, oh, I'm here and this is the reason why I'm here. And then Maggie ends up knocking him out. And then Pearly actually ends up killing that junior marshal, right? He ends up actually killing him because like Negan told him to get up, and then and then he basically shot his teammates. So basically it was for nothing that Negan and Maggie brought him for. And again, that's another thing I like about this series, is that they're going back to that earlier seasons of Walking Dead where characters would die out of nowhere, right? And that is one thing I really missed, is that characters dying out of nowhere. And you know, it just seems like that they're scared to even do that even with the smaller characters. So again, it's and again in very subtle ways also, because even if they were to kill off a character fast, it would just be from a walker bite, and then they'll try making this emotional moment and then kill them off. But it's really cool to see that, you know, like people are dying like that. The last time we saw that was season 11, and I think it was the end of the second part where in one of the Hilltops members, like, you know, with Maggie, he gets shot in the back of the head by Leah. So I like seeing moments like that, right? And now let's talk about the Croat. Again, you know, a very nice person in the comment section actually did tell me how to pronounce it in my Dead City speculation video. It's Croat with an A, and I would pronounce it as Croat with a U. So thank you so much for that. And you know, this show actually gave me, like, you know, a proper understanding on how to pronounce it, because they actually did say it. And where to begin with this villain? I think he's a really good villain, and the thing I like most is that he's a psycho, right? And Negan does mention that earlier on in the episode, that, you know, he's a psycho. And Maggie actually does say that, oh yeah, you know, he raided Hilltop, and you know, he took all the grain and supplies and stuff like that. And they actually did the whistling, like how it was on Last Day on Earth, like, you know, the season 6 finale, right? Where Negan actually cornered the group, and you know, they started whistling. It was a signature for Negan, right? And it looks like that the Croat actually does do that, right? He took that tactic from Negan, and it looks like that he created his own saviors, right? And again, yeah, it's really cool to see that like, you know, they're actually calling back to the past of the Walking Dead. Now we actually do see Herschel afterwards, you know, with the Croat, and you know, he's taunting Herschel that, oh yeah, did you ever meet the guy that killed your father and stuff like that. So I think that this is going to be a really big part in this show. It's gonna be a way to fuel Herschel's rage, right? And actually, like, you know, make his hatred towards Negan even worse. And you know, this actually does worry me, because with the Walking Dead main series ending, we did not get an adaptation of Rick Grimes' death. And I think that the character that's going to get Rick's death from the comics is going to be Negan, and Herschel's going to end up killing him. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not going to happen. But, you know, when it comes to characters that are likely to get that death, Negan is the one that's likely to get that death. And it looks like that this show is setting up the groundwork towards that, because, you know, again, you know, Herschel's going to be reminded over and over and over again that, you know, this man killed your father. And then at the end of the episode, we actually see that a person is actually escaping the Croat, and he's about to zip line towards another building. Then we actually do see how much of a psycho he is. He actually cuts off the zip line, and he actually makes fun of his death. So again, you know, it's very interesting seeing a villain like that, you know, just like, you know, the governor, or how Negan was, you know, he's trying to be a new Negan. So, you know, it'd be very cool to see that. It would be kind of like, you know, Negan looking through a mirror in his past and seeing that, oh yeah, you know, I kind of acted like this also. So, you know, it'd be a really cool dynamic. And, you know, that person that was actually running at the end in my trailer breakdown, I thought that was a running walker, and I think a lot of people actually thought that as well. But, you know, it wasn't a running walker. It was just a dude, like, trying to escape. You know, he was running. And yeah, that's about it. But yeah, that's my review about the episode. It's just a rough review. I just want to give my thoughts out of what I thought about the episode. I gotta give it another rewatch. But so far, I would give this episode about an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. I really like the starting of the episode. I like the pacing of it, and it sets up the groundwork for the later on in the season for this show. And Negan is of course going back to his old sense of humor. He's acting like that. And also another thing to point out, what I might actually be right about in my theories and speculation video of my Dead City video, right, is that Annie might actually be dead. And because this is proven that because Maggie actually does mention Annie, and Negan totally dodges that question. So again, I might be right that Annie might be dead, or she might be taken by the CRM, but it does look likely that Annie is taken. But yeah, about this episode in general, it's a very good episode, right? And I'm actually really excited to see what's going to happen later on in this season. And it does seem like that they might make a season 2 about it. And I'm actually going to make a theories video about a potential season 2 and what characters might show up in it. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you for all of your support, all of your love. I really appreciate it. And I'm reading all of your messages, and I just appreciate every single one of you, all 572 of you. I really do appreciate all of you. And I'm looking right now, those are the numbers of the subscribers. And we are more than halfway there to our 1,000 subscriber goal. So let's try getting to that 1,000 subscriber goal, because I know that we could do it. And, of course, it's with all of your support. And other than that, I hope you guys liked my first episode review. And I know it wasn't the best, but, I have to improve upon it. So just comment down your feedback on what could have I gotten right. I know it was all over the place, but I watched the episode earlier today, and, I just forgot some details about it. So again, bear with me there. So I do have another theory video, and I do have a character breakdown video, and the theory video is actually based off the new episode of Fear the Walking Dead, so keep an eye out for that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching.